Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee, sit back and relax, or your tea if you have that instead. Sit back and relax, and let's chat about the energy for not only today, but Saturday and Sunday as well. And surprise, I'm actually here today. I had internet issues yesterday. It was like out of the blue. My modem started flashing all these different lights at me, and I had no internet right in the middle of a delicate operation, I might add. And then I just walked away for a few moments, came back, and it was back on. And I was like, yes, and sat back down to finish what I was doing. And then it was gone again. And this time it was gone for a long time. And I called the company, figured out it was my modem was a problem. They scheduled me to have somebody come out today to fix it. And I was like, oh, darn it. And I'd have lousy cell signal from T-Mobile where I live here. And I mean, the island is just kind of out of the way and, not in the, I guess, in the wave of the cell signal. So I couldn't even hardly talk to them. It kept disconnecting me because I usually just connect wirelessly. I don't even think about it. So anyway, they tell me that they'll be out today. So while I was in town yesterday, I thought I better email or text everybody on Facebook while I have the internet and I have my strong cell signal. So I quick send out this message to you all that I wasn't going to be doing the show this morning. And then when I got home, I'm puttering around getting dinner ready, and I happened to realize that all the lights were green on my modem. So somehow my internet had been corrected and it was working again. And I was very excited. And anyway, I didn't send any message out at that moment to you all because I thought, what if it doesn't work by the morning? But I got up this morning and it was still working and everything seems fine. So who knows? It could have just been one of those Mercury retrograde sort of, Mercury in the shadow of its retrograde kind of issues. But here it is. It's working today. However, I don't see anybody of my usuals out here. So I'm guessing you guys all took me for my word that I wasn't going to be here. And you're probably wondering, what it is that you're missing. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up for the weekend. And even if you don't notice it live this morning, at least it'll be recorded there for you to get to. We start the day today, the weekend, yay, Friday, with the moon in Capricorn. The moon in Capricorn today sets the stage for several planets to be hit because the moon, when it's moving through Capricorn, is now going to hit Venus, and it's going, Venus, it's going to hit Venus early this morning. Venus then changes into Aquarius, where it will then again get hit by the moon tomorrow when the moon moves into Aquarius. And then that also means Saturn and Pluto. So I got to tell you, this morning I got up, I don't know, my eyes even hurt because I got up so early. And when I sat up in bed, I could look out the window and I saw the slice of the moon, the crescent moon rising. And I went, oh my gosh, that looks so beautiful. And through my blurry eyes, I'm looking and I'm like, what is that next to the moon? And I went, I got to go find out. Well, I have an app on my cell phone that is a star map 3D. And if you guys want a great star map for finding out what is it that I'm seeing in the sky there, it is called, I think it's just called Star Map 3D, Star Map 3D Plus. And it's the best app ever. So you just take it, you put it on your phone, you put in your zip code or address so that it, knows where you are, and you point your phone at what it is you're seeing in the sky, and it tells you what it is. So I did that this morning. I knew I was looking at the moon. What I didn't realize, I was looking at the moon conjunct Saturn. It was gorgeous, right? The moon was kind of orangish color because it was just coming up. So it was picking up some of the coloring of the sun that was not yet risen, but, picking up the reflection. And just below that was the planet Venus, also in her early morning rise. And up and to the right was Jupiter. It was so beautiful. So Venus, Saturn, the moon, and Jupiter all sort of in a bit of a line. It wasn't quite, an exact line, but it's not often that you get to, visually connect like that, especially here in the Northwest. We always have clouds. So it's like 30 degrees and I'm standing out there. I told my husband, I probably should put shoes on rather than go out barefoot like I normally would do. It's a good thing I did because the ground was quite icy. And anyway, so it was really cool to be able to connect visually with those planets. So indeed, then what we have today is the moon conjunct Saturn. And then a little bit later after that, the moon will conjunct Pluto. So even eyeballing Saturn, we can't see Pluto from here without a telescope, right? It's just too far out. But on another level, you can still connect with the energy of that planet because you know that Saturn and Pluto are almost in a conjunction already. And that puts that planet in about the same area of the sky as the one I could see. So even though I could only visually see Saturn, I was able to connect with this idea that Pluto is not far behind. It's just not visible. So it was a beautiful morning. And it reminds me that today may be a bit of an up and down sort of day emotionally, right? The moon rules our emotions. And in Capricorn, there's sometimes this trying to hold back those emotions. And instead, it comes out as melancholy or depression. So rather than out and out crying or being sad or angry, there could be this feeling of these powerful emotions that are moving through or within you and begging to be let out, but Capricorn is often holding on very tight. It's Cancer at its opposite end that is the one that likes to release emotion. So it's a possibility that some of you may be overly emotional for a while and actually expressing it, while others are sort of feeling it, but they're more stoic, and so they're holding it back. So you may feel it, but you're not expressing it. So that is pretty much what we have for a good chunk of the day today. But we also have Venus in a square this morning to the planet Uranus. Remember, Uranus is still sitting until next week at 29 degrees of Aries. And then the moon, then Venus at 29 degrees of Capricorn, that puts them in a 90-degree challenge to one another. Now, Venus, anytime she's challenging another planet, it isn't as difficult, let's say, as it is, when other planets square one another, because Venus is what we call a benefic planet. Her connections tend to be smoother and not as mean, if you will, right? But so Venus in a square to Uranus kind of makes, sets us up for surprises. And those surprises, when she tangles with Uranus, can be about love and romance. It might mean, meeting somebody that you're attracted to. It might mean that you might meet up with someone, though, and there's a trigger for a conflict or a confrontation. So it can play out in a couple of different ways today that we don't normally think of with Venus. And I'm so sorry, you guys, I turned my phone on yesterday so that I could call Wave, realized that because my internet was out, I can't even use my home phone, and then I forgot to turn it off. So if you're hearing the ring, it'll last for a couple moments and then be gone, I hope. Anyway, so Venus squaring Uranus may set us up for some surprises with our relationships. And, it might be something small that triggers you today that you normally don't get triggered by. So just being aware of that, right? Don't let yourself get drawn in to any, conflicts with other people. One other thing you're going to want to watch for: Venus rules money. And with Uranus, which is surprises and impulses, you want to watch today for impulse buying, for spending money that you don't have on things that you don't need or that you don't necessarily have to have, right? Be very careful with this, right? Because you could, especially if you're buying something big, if you're buying a car, if you're, maybe paying off a debt or any amount of money that you're spending in any big sort of way today, make sure you really want what you were spending the money for and that you've done your due diligence checking it out so there aren't any surprises. This sort of reminds me of when Venus is retrograde and I say don't, buy anything big because you can be so lost in the glitter of it, the glamour of it, that you can't see clearly that you're buying a lemon. Well, here we have a temporary little impulse like that, where if you just go out and spend big chunks of money, you may find out later that that wasn't a good thing, right? I didn't get the value for the dollars I spent. So be very aware of that. Now, when I wrote up the energy for the week, I used a word that I'm not sure I've ever used with you all before, and it is that Venus ingress Aquarius. Ingress is an astrology term that just means a planet moving from one sign to another. So literally means move into. So Venus ingress Aquarius means Venus moving into Aquarius, where she will be until later part of this month. I think it's the 26th of March. She'll move out of Aquarius. So for, the foreseeable future, we have Venus wearing her sort of funky clothes, right? She's in her uniqueness. So the energies in our relationships may take on some unique, eccentric, sort of interesting ideas about what we are doing together, who we are together. We might want to try new things together. We may want to experiment in our relationships. You may be exposed to people that you've not been exposed to either in a very long time, or people who are completely different than the typical people that you hang out with. And I would encourage you to embrace that, right? So for the next few weeks, you may find more things about yourself through the reflection that you see in new people in your life. That's one of the high sides of Venus in Aquarius. One of the lower sides is that, we'll have the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. Since we have a Venus square Uranus today, and I was telling you, impulse buying, watch out. Well, now Venus moves into the sign ruled by Aquarius, or ruled by Uranus. So we definitely, even for the foreseeable future, into at least the end of March, want to be aware about what we are impulsively doing, who we are impulsively getting engaged with, what we are impulsively buying. Right. So it may feel really good in the moment to go out and plunk down that money for something, or to have this new love in your life. But then later, when you wake up and you go, what am I doing here? Right. It's like waking up and going, whoa, what did I wake up in another universe? So you want to be careful about that for the next few weeks, right? Because things aren't necessarily, you're not necessarily in your wrong mind, but you may do things spontaneously that maybe you regret later. Maybe you don't, right? In some ways, this frees us up to do things that we wouldn't normally do. But you got to be aware, there's so many different things that are pushing us to try new things, to be in new places, to be optimistic, more optimistic perhaps than what you, in thinking about what it is you could do. So everything has to be right. We have to be we have to push ourselves to be conservative, to be a better steward of everything. And this one, even though it's not necessarily as big of a deal as Jupiter in Sagittarius in causing us to be overly optimistic, it is one that kind of blurs the lines. Yeah, I want to go skydiving, and right then I scare myself into a heart attack because I, wasn't ready for this. So just be aware and do things that you're capable of. Stretch some. Just don't, even a rubber band, when you stretch it too far, busts and then snaps you. So don't push yourself too far, but don't stay safe either. Oh God, it's going to be one of those times where we're just going to have to, ride the ups and the downs of the energies that are coming up for us. So let's see. Good morning, Debbie, Vanita, Vicky, you found me. And so glad that you were able to find me. I felt really bad telling you all I wouldn't be here and then suddenly popping up and being here. But I wasn't sure that my internet connection was going to stay there. So I'm glad you ladies found me. And there's other people out there. I just can't see who you are. So good morning to everybody that's out there. So all of that I was just talking about was Friday, today. Tomorrow, Saturday, fairly early in the day for me on the West Coast, 11-ish in the morning. So 12, 1, 2-ish for you all on the East Coast. The moon will transition from the sign of Capricorn and into the sign of Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius. So you see how we could, overdo things a bit this weekend. So it's a very sociable energy, right? So tomorrow being probably the better day of the weekend for socializing with people and getting engaged, maybe hanging out with new people. I know tomorrow I'm going to be at a fundraiser. My son's stepdaughter, if you will, is a race car driver. And she's only 17, and she's been racing mini sprints and sprint cars since she was, I don't know, maybe 11, 10 years old. And tomorrow's a fundraiser for her for Skagit Speedway, which is where she races. And so it's going to push me to hang out with a bunch of race car type people that I don't normally hang out with. And even though I'm, fairly comfortable in social situations, it's going to be a stretch for me because these are not people that I can sit down and have an astrological conversation about. If I knew anything about cars or wings or engines or something, I might be able to have a decent conversation with. The highlight of my day is going to be hopefully Wyatt is there. Wyatt, my almost 1-year-old grandson. So pushing myself a little bit tomorrow to be out with people that I don't normally hang out with, just to stretch, right? Just to stretch. And so I'm encouraging all of you to stretch just that little bit, to embrace, maybe people that you wouldn't normally hang out with, or doing things that you wouldn't normally do. But again, just be cautious in the things that you're doing. You don't want to overspend and overdo, or over imbibe, or overindulge in food, or we've been talking about this a couple of different times lately, and that's because Jupiter and his presence in Sagittarius already causes us to be overly optimistic. And then as other transits build up that might mean the same thing or something similar, it is us having to be warned about not overindulging. Stay within your budget, right? Let's see, it's just keeping everything proportional to what it is that you can handle, not going too far too fast. Good morning, Asa. Good morning, Danielle. It's great to see you ladies out there this morning as well. Now, let's talk about Sunday. This is actually kind of the calmer of the weekends. The only real true blip Saturday morning is going to be the idea of, being proportional. Friday today is really just about maybe those, emotions that are, moving up and down a bit. Sunday, however, can be a little bit emotionally irritable. And that's because Moon is squaring Mars that day. And, the Moon is our emotional self, and Mars is, very masculine, sort of aggressive or assertive energy. And it can trigger conflict within us. And it's just irritability or irritation. So while this isn't a good day for you to repress anything that you're feeling, it is also not a good day to overly express what you're feeling and, put all of your anger or irritation out on the people around you. So it is a good day to exercise. It is a great day to write. It is a good day to, go out in nature, to allow the energy to move through you. So if you're feeling frustrated on Sunday, if you're feeling angry or upset or irritated or irritable, do something different. Go outside and do something if you can, or, just be ready to walk away from someone if they're going to blow up at you, because sometimes, you may be aware of what you're experiencing or what the energies are bringing to you, but other people who don't necessarily know astrology or what's happening up in the sky, they are totally unconscious, and they may be projecting their anger, upset, irritation, frustration out on you. And if you take that in and you react, right, then you have a fight on your hands. So instead, just be ready to walk away, or count to 10 before you react or say anything or do anything that you might regret later. It will save you from creating a huge hullabaloo or a huge response to something that was just a minor or fleeting sort of irritation. Because I don't think this is like the whole day, right? This isn't necessarily the whole day. Because Moon moves fairly quickly, and she's squaring Mars. Maybe a few hours and then it's done, right? So try to hold your tongue, try to hold your actions, walk away if you can from somebody else who may be trying to trigger you. And really now that's about it for the weekend. Good morning, Colleen. It's good to see you out there too. So, wow, 20 minutes and I was through the whole of the weekend. Isn't it nice to know that we don't have lots of these heavy transits that have been sort of dogging us over the last couple of weeks going on this weekend? In fact, on Sunday, literally the only irritation is that square to Mars. There's no other things happening there. Most Saturday's really a green day. I mean, I'll show you, right? It shows green, rot here, green. But today shows red. Today's red, tomorrow's green. So it just means, we have a mixed bag of energies this weekend. And if you just watch what you're doing and stay conscious, stay aware, watch what you're saying, don't overindulge, don't overdo, don't overspend, then you're going to be fine, right? You're going to be fine. Now, I have the funniest sort of set of circumstances going on. We're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. And I had yesterday the experience of experiencing almost every retrograde kind of thing that you can experience in one day. And in just a span of a few hours, right? It was hysterical. And I knew what was going on. And yet I almost got drawn into the drama of it. And it started when my internet went out. And you guys can't see this, but on the floor right next to me, I have this big basket and it has all of my oracle cards in it. I must have 20 decks of oracle cards down there in this basket. And it's sitting right next to where my internet modem is sitting. And I needed to get them out of the way. Well, I went to move the basket so I could get to the internet to find out what was wrong. And it got caught in the carpet and all of the boxes of cards flipped over and went spilling across the floor. Some of the lids I didn't have them all on, because I read them so frequently, on air. So I had cards everywhere. And so I'm irritated that I've done that. Then I'm irritated because I can't fix the internet. Then I realized that my internet and my home phone are tied together, my landline phone. So when my internet is down, I can't use my landline phone to call the company to find out what the bleep is happening with my internet. So I go, well, use your cell phone. Well, I have shitty cell phone service here where I live. And I had one bar. And I moved slightly while I was talking to the rep and it, boom, disconnected me. So luckily she had the number. She called me back because my phone said no service and I couldn't call her. So I'm getting mad. Now I'm getting upset, right? And I'm like, breathe. Okay, breathe. We get through. She says, I can't fix this for you. Someone's going to have to come out, but we're going to reset your equipment anyway, just to see. That fails. I'm like, okay, fine. I have an errand I have to run in town. I have to go to the bank, so I'm going to go get that done. I get in my car. I drive to the bank. Now I have to drive probably, 20 miles to get to the bank, right? Because I'm going into Mount Vernon, which is about 20 miles from me. I get to the bank. I go in and I present what I need to do at the bank. And the guy says, okay, great. So he's standing there and he's, doing stuff on his computer and it's like taking 5 minutes. And I'm like, is there something wrong? He's like, yeah, the computer system went down. I went, no, no, right? No. And he's like, yeah. He said, but let me try something. Boom, boom, boom. Finally, the computer system comes back up. The banking transaction goes through. And then he says, okay, well, I needed him to fax a copy of this check to my bank because my bank is 100 miles from here. And he goes to fax it and he's standing there and he's trying to fax it. And I can tell something's not working. And he gets the bank manager and the bank manager comes over and she goes, I've never seen it do that before. And he goes, me neither. And I'm going, oh God, no. So he comes back over to me and he goes, the fax machine isn't working. So we have to turn it off, restart it and see if it'll reset itself so I can fax for you. And I'm breathing, counting to 10. I'm like, okay. That's great. That's great. And so he finally, another 5 minutes later, faxes this. The fax machine works. It faxes it to my bank. I go out to my car. I get in my car and I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. I grab a quick burrito, sit in my car and thinking I'm going to call my bank now and make sure all of that happened. I call my bank. They can't find the fax. I went, you are kidding me. Are you kidding me? No, we don't have a fax from you or from, it was Alaska Federal Credit Union. And I went, oh my God. Okay. So then I said, now what can I do? They said, well, you can go back into the bank and have them try to refax it. I went, how about this? I had the copy of the fax. I said, how about if I take a picture of it and email it to you? And they say, okay, great. So I take a picture. They gave me the email address. And wouldn't you know, my own mind, 3 different times I sent that email to the incorrect address. Each time it was a different incorrect address. It took me the 4th try. Finally, I realized what I was doing and got the email to go through. Then I wait for about 5 minutes. And by the way, my show, Ascension and Astrology, is going to start in an hour. And I have to get to Cornelia's house in La Conner, which is still another, 10 to 12 miles from where I am. So I'm like, okay, I don't have time to keep messing with this. Finally, I wait. I go, okay, I'm going to call my bank and make sure all of this is done now. I call the bank and they're like, we found the fax and everything's okay now. And I went, oh, yes, thank you, right? So my retrograde story was this series of unfortunate events that actually ends really well, including, and of course, coming home last night and finding out my internet was working again and that I could, if everything was fine this morning, come on air. So the moral of the story is be patient. And I wasn't doing really good at being patient at first, but it was almost becoming funny that these things that were just snowballing one after the other, and I'm out of my control, most of them out of my control, and me just sitting there going, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? So don't be surprised if you have these little chaotic moments and that things are crazy. And yet they all worked out. Everything worked out beautiful. Everything worked out into my favor yesterday. Everything that was going wrong or appeared to be going wrong actually ended in my favor, which is amazing in and of itself, including, another Mercury retrograde thing. Yesterday, while we're broadcasting Ascension and Astrology, some random person gets into the chat and starts speaking French. I don't understand French. I don't realize he or she is saying all kinds of dirty, nasty, sexual innuendo kinds of stuff in French. And I'm looking at it. I'm trying to read it because I can recognize some words. And it turns out Asa, I think, must understand French because she said, it's nasty. I went, oh no. So I don't know how that person got in there. I've since blocked them. And when I went back, the comments were all gone, thankfully. Mercury retrograde. Sometimes you just got to laugh, right? You just got to laugh. Otherwise, you might cry or go crazy or insane or be impulsive and do things that you don't want to do. So it's Friday. I have my cards sitting here. Who would like a card reading? I think I'll just pull a card in general for the weekend. And I'm going to pull the spirit animal cards. Whoops. Colleen says, yes, I need calmer energy. And who doesn't need calmer energy, right? Right now, it just seems a little bit crazy. But remember, you're in control. You're not in control necessarily of some of the things that are happening around you, right? That's the key right there. I couldn't control the bank. I couldn't control the internet. I couldn't control everything that was going on. But I could control myself. And that was the key thing there, is that even though I could feel myself, how you are when you get mad, you're take a deep breath, breathe. Even though I could feel that, I knew, that all I could do was control my reactions. And the more that I thought it was funny, the easier this became, and the more of an adventure it became. So let's see. Oh, a card fell out. I get this card so often. The dragonfly. So this is for us for the weekend. This isn't for anybody in particular, but I do see that Debbie wants one and Asa wants one. So anyway, we have dragonfly spirit, which says truth transcends illusion. card number 22. So that's a master number. So the spirit guiding us this weekend would be Dragonfly. And it says, Dragonfly spirit is here to remind you of the wisdom and truth available at all times in the hidden realms. Just as a dragonfly catches your eye with its reflective wings and body, Dragonfly spirit appears to tell you to pay attention to the truth beyond the illusion and recognize the insights that come seemingly out of nowhere, peeking through from behind the veil. In the realm of spirit, there is far more wisdom than you can perceive with your senses, and there is a deep knowing that you are not separate or alone, for a higher purpose recognizes you and loves you beyond measure. Fears dissipate as you realize you are embraced by the nurturing force that is everywhere, always in communication with you. Alighting when you are preoccupied, Dragonfly Spirit offers this message. You exist in unity with all, including the protective spirits who share their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experiences it craves. Love exists in many forms, and sometimes we overlook it when we don't recognize a particular form. Pay attention to the signs now. They remind you that each of us have inspired dreams seamlessly sewn into the fabric of the invisible world, and there is a great consciousness that exists in the seemingly empty spaces guiding us on our journey. Open to the truth, letting the wisdom of the hidden realms inform you, providing insights your conscious mind overlooks. That is a great card to guide us for this weekend. And isn't that pretty? Just the colors. It's almost the colors I'm wearing today, even. That's pretty funny. Okay, Dragonfly Spirit. Let's see here. Vanita, Asa, Debbie. Let's do. And there's another comment here. Alex. Good morning, Alex. Good morning. Yep, impulse spending happened yesterday for me. Items I need and will use, but our Kmart is going out of business with the last day Sunday, and taxes came in, and while paying bills, guess who went shopping? Yep, this girl. Well, I hope everything that you needed is exactly what you got, and that it turns out good for you. Just watch from here, what you're doing with your money. Okay, so let's see. Debbie H. Me, please. Which deck would you like? I have out the Animal deck, the Wisdom of Avalon deck, and I do have the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Which would you prefer? Same thing for you, Asa and Vanita. Which decks would you like? You guys can probably tell me that ahead of time. And I'll just wait here. By the way, these decks are all three by Colette Baron Reed. And they're absolutely beautiful. Debbie wants an animal card. It's funny, Debbie, I was holding on to these cards thinking she probably wants an animal card. So I did put Dragonfly back in here. So I don't know why I said that, but just in case, for whatever reason, someone else needs a Dragonfly. Colleen wants an animal card. Debbie, an animal card. Let me just focus here for a second, Debbie, on you. And what spirit animal wants to come out? Whoa, a whole pack of them wanted to. Can't have that. It would take me forever. Whale spirit. Trust the great mystery. Looks like it's card number 65, which is an 11, the number of illumination, also a master number. All right, master number. So, Debbie, let's see what whale spirit. I don't think we've pulled this card before. Let's see what whale spirit offers up for you here. Okay, so whale spirit is an ancient creature who was here at the beginning of time and who has seen everything, felt everything, and heard everything that has ever transpired on this planet. In the hidden realms where all things must gather first before manifesting into form, whale spirit is the keeper, singing the soul of the whole world from the deepest waters of the coldest seas. When whale spirit appears, it is a reminder that there is a great mystery that you must accept without intellectually trying to understand it. Some things cannot be known by the mind, only experienced through the heart, through intuition, and through the peripheral senses that part the invisible veils separating the visible world from the great manifesting consciousness in the hidden realms. Now is the time for you to immerse yourself in the great mystery of spirit and to trust that within the invisible, What you can't see now are the seeds of your intentions being tended to by angels. Now, I'm going to give you the protection message as well, because Debbie, I couldn't tell for sure which way is the card upside down for you or was it right side up for you. So let's just read it. And if it makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry. Certainty is not offered to you right now. You are being asked to trust the process of co-creation. Whale spirit reminds you that your primary reality is not that of the material world, but that of the realm of spirit, from which the essence of your dreams and desires take shape before arriving as a specific form. You must trust absolutely that what will come will be for the highest good. Stay in your present moment awareness and allow the hidden realms to hold your intentions safely until it is time for them to manifest in the realm of form. Let go, for you will not be left behind. Some things take longer than others to arrive. Nice, right? So let me show you that one more time. Whale. Pretty card as well. Beautiful, beautiful. I just realized that in Whale's body there is the cosmos. Right? The universe. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so let's see who's next. Asa Avalon. All right, girlfriend. Let's look at the wisdom of Avalon. And this is for Asa. And it's okay, Vanita. It could be spelled that way, right? I know it's not, but it doesn't matter. Two cards for you, Madam Asa. The Grail Knight and Truth. And the Grail Knight here says romance, illusion, seeking the sacred. It's card number 6, right? The Grail Knight. And then Truth, card number 51. They both sort of popped out together. So let's take a look at what those mean for you. We'll do the Grail Knight first. Number 6. Romance and the seeking of that which is sacred. Such are the missions of the Grail Knight. He represents the coming together of all elements to form perfect life through a union of heaven and earth. Or he signifies a romantic union of lover with lover. In the beginning of all relationships, there's a time when everything is perfect. One seeks out the discovery of love and the treasures of the other, all the while holding up a mirror in which beauty and perfection are reflected. There is both truth and illusion. Interesting that the other card that came up at the same time was Truth, right? When the Grail Knight appears, he lets you know that your own beauty, perfection, and innermost desires may be reflected in the mirror that is held up by the love of another. Indeed, love is in the air. Perhaps it's also time for you to fall in love with yourself. If you don't, you run the risk of attracting the same affirmation from the outside world. Love attracts love. Be love, and you shall find love. A gentle warning. Light cannot exist without shadow, so don't be fooled by the illusion of perfection. Be willing to see the shadow and ask for honesty. Then you can never be disappointed. This is a fortunate omen. And then truth. Truth in word and deed is what is required of you by drawing this marker. As well as resonating with your own personal truth, it's important now to also demand the same from others. In every person, there is a vibrational energy that's accessible by slowing down and searching within to inquire, is this real? Am I hearing truth from another, or is it a lie? Am I speaking honestly myself, or am I lying to manipulate circumstances to get what I want? Remember, even a white lie will cause your light to fade and lose power. A lie takes you down into the lower vibrations of the ego world, ruled by separation and limitation. And it's seduction of the lower world and serves no one but the forces of the dark. This marker reminds you to remain in the light, even if it seems like a more difficult path. Truth will build a bridge across a chasm. Truth will lend a magic wand of strength and integrity. Truth is freedom. I love it. I love it. I love it. I hope that's meaningful for you in some way. Asa. And who was next after her? Debbie Vanita, Wisdom of the Oracle. I almost need a bigger desk if I'm going to offer doing readings with 3 different decks of cards. Okay, this is for you, Vanita. And then Colleen, you're next. And she wants an animal card. Ooh, these cards feel stiff this morning. Oh, all right. Building blocks. This is for you, Vanita, card number 28, which is a 10 or a 1. And Asa, those cards were perfect, weren't they? Building blocks for you, Vanita. So card number 28, let's read what that's about. 25, 26, 27, 28. The essential meaning of this card is strong foundations, a beautiful work in progress. And the Oracle's message says you have everything you need to cultivate an extraordinary life. This is a time when your focus needs to be on the foundations you build upon. Your work, your relationships, and your very being are underwritten by your values, ethics, morals, and core beliefs. Are they still true for you? Will they stand the test of time and serve as the solid grounding upon which you construct your life? Now you're making changes that will affect everything in a positive way. Your destiny is truly a remarkable and beautiful design. In the relationship message here, it says, when you see this card, know that you are attracting a new relationship into your life, or new relationships into your life, and solidifying the ones you already have by building them on foundations of honesty, humility, clear communication, and a genuine desire to know one another. You are moving toward laying the groundwork for a relationship with a firm footing that will ensure it can stand any storm. Long-standing relationships are also repaired and strengthened. You and the other person are stronger, wiser, and more powerful together than apart. The prosperity message says you have everything you need to turn iron into gold in the alchemical process of creating the prosperous life you desire. Now is the time to build on the strong foundation you have already laid for your prosperity. Keep in mind that these building blocks are imbued with sparkling energy of your intentions. Own your dream and remember that you always have more than enough and you always are enough, so abundance is ever present. Your creativity is divinely inspired and the design for your life is taking shape in service to the world. You are meant for success. Ah, love it. That's a great card. Love it, love it, love it. Vanita says, I feel a little stiff this morning too. Oh. Life imitating my life, imitating your life, or the cards imitating your life. So let's see. I was going to do Colleen next, and Ace or Alex. Can we get an angel card? I do have angel cards here. I have an archangel deck. I have Wisdom of the Angels, or Healing with the Angels, excuse me. And I have another kind of angel deck as well. So be thinking about specifically what kind of angels you want while I draw a card for Colleen from the Animal Spirit deck. Move these out of the way. Or I have Goddess Oracles too, Alex, if Goddess sounds good. Yeah, Vanita, that's a great card, isn't it? Great, great, great. Okay, this is for Colleen. Ooh, Colleen. Something powerful wants to come out. I can feel it. And it is, Giraffe Spirit. See, there are 2 cards. I'm going to read it to you. It's stuck to it, so maybe it was not necessarily for you. One is Grasshopper, and the other one is Giraffe. This is the one that I actually wanted to come out. It's number 29, which is an 11. You're the second person with an 11 today. Yeah, there was another 11 because there was card 65. And then you also got Grasshopper. Giraffe says, take a leap of faith. No, that's what Grasshopper says. Take a leap of faith. Giraffe says, see the big picture. So see the big picture, take a leap of faith. Let's read what those are about. And Giraffe Spirit first, card 29. What's really good about that is, and this just occurred to me, Colleen, is that whenever the moon moves into Aquarius, in this case, we have the moon tomorrow moving into Aquarius. We have Venus into Aquarius today. It reminds me of that picture I love to show of the giraffe with his head, turning upside down, because that's kind of what Aquarius energy is about, right? You have to turn it upside down and see things differently. But this one says to take a leap of faith. And it says giraffes stretch upward to reach the treetops and look down from a high vantage point. When giraffe spirit appears, it is a sign to observe from a higher view. In all aspects of your life, it's time to stretch your neck out and broaden your view. Open your eyes to what others need or are experiencing and see the big picture you fit into. No matter how great your wisdom, knowledge, or experience, you don't want to overlook details and connections that will help you better understand yourself and your circumstances. So stretch yourself. Look beyond what catches your attention at eye level and know that not everything is as obvious as you might like it to be. Spirit will bestow upon you a new perspective that makes all the difference. And then Grasshopper, the very next card, 30, says take a leap of faith. I'll show you Grasshopper again. Look, he's got a little crown on his head. Isn't that cute? He's actually very pretty. I don't usually think of grasshoppers as being pretty, but that one's pretty. And I'm going to show you Giraffe again just because she's beautiful with her forehead. Yeah. Okay. Grasshopper says, right now you are poised to jump into the next level of your life and move forward into something even better than you could have ever imagined. When Grasshopper spirit appears, it is a fortuitous time to take a leap into the unknown. For Grasshopper spirit represents the innovative spirit that says, why not? And has faith in the powers of co-creation. You are being called to trust that this is the right time to go with that idea, relationship, or situation. Take risks, for abundance in all forms will show up for you. Wondrous things await when Grasshopper spirit appears. You are not going to go backwards, so listen to your intuition rather than your fearful ego that resists any change and clings worriedly to what was. Luck is on your side. Jump up and forward with confidence, for Spirit has so much in store for you if only you take that leap. What are you up to, girl? That's 2 cards that say trust, see the bigger picture, and do something about it. So that's perfect. Alex, did you decide what kind of angel card you wanted to do? Alex, are you still out there? I think what I will do instead is I will just go grab one of the decks. And the one that actually comes to me is I'm going to pull you 2, Alex, because both of these decks, one is Healing with the Angels by Doreen Virtue. This is my original deck of cards. This goes back to probably 2005, 2004. And then this one is Daily Guidance from Your Angels, which is also a Doreen Virtue deck. So let's just see, Alex, what they have to say for you. And okay. I'm going to play with these for a minute. You're welcome, Colleen. I have had dogs bring me feathers the past few days. Ooh, feathers. Grasshopper in Chinese is good luck. I mean, they really believe. Okay, Alex, I'm pulling power. This is the angel for power. And goodness, it's been so long, I can't even tell you really what this card means except power. And let's see. The card meaning, you now allow yourself to express your power. Being powerful is safe for you, knowing that you express your power with love. You have all the power of your creator within you. All the power of divine love, wisdom, and intelligence is available to you. You have the spiritual power to see angels and the future. You have intellectual power to tap into the universal wisdom of the one mind. You have emotional power to empathize with others and physical power that is truly unlimited. The angels ask you to give them any fears you may have connected with being a powerful person. Your angels see a quiet and beautiful aspect of your true power stemming from the only power in the universe, divine love. Allow yourself to shine with this radiant love so that your true power can radiate out into the world in miraculous ways. Whew, that's a really good card. That's a really good reminder for all of us. And I'm going to pull one more card for you, Alex, because maybe I'm not. Okay, but I am. This is called Daily Guidance from Your Angels. It's a beautiful purple deck and has gold etching on the edge of the cards. Can you see that? Kind of shiny goldness. But there's electricity in these cards. It's almost like they don't want to give you a card, but they do. And the card, oh man. I hope these have meaning for you because they both came out together. See Only Love and Release and Surrender. They're both beautiful angels. So let's see what that means. See Only, these cards don't have numbers. So see only love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. The angels gave you this card as a reminder to see yourself, others, and every situation through their eyes. When you focus on love, anything that's unloving falls away. It's like turning on a light to diminish the previous darkness. Call upon the angels whenever you need help to elevate your vision to a more loving vantage point. Additional meanings for this card: look past the personalities and egos of others and see the angel within them. Forgive, release anger, hurt, or judgments to the angels. Affirm what you desire instead of what you fear. Then I'm also, the next message they give you is release and surrender. So big deals here. So release and surrender. The angels say, we shower you with blessings of our radiant love. Open your arms and release the challenges that you've held tightly gripped within your hands. Open your hands, arms, and heart to our love and assistance. The angels bring this card to you because you've been trying to fix a situation single-handedly. They'd love to help you and answer your prayers, but first you need to surrender and release the situation. Surrender simply means that you're tired of struggling. It means emotionally letting go with faith that the divine wisdom of the spirit, which includes your higher self, can do a better job. Surrender doesn't mean that you're giving up or that you want to be controlled. Through surrender, you'll be assured of a better outcome. If you need help with surrender, ask the angels to assist you. Additional meanings: don't worry about how your prayer will be answered. Let God figure out the details. Be willing to ask for help. Release tension and the need to control, and things will go better. Avoid power struggles in your relationship. Simply own your power, and you won't have to fight for it. Seems like there's a theme. There's a couple themes going on here for you that are all congruent with the three cards. So I hope that is meaningful for you and helps you along the way for your day. All right. I think I got everybody right that wanted a reading. Evelyn, Colleen, Debbie, you got one. Vanita, Asa. Okay. I think that's it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. There's just minor little blips along the screen for the weekend. Just remember to stay proportional to what you can afford, to the energy that you have, and to your ability to get engaged with things. Don't go overboard. If you get irritated, frustrated, angry, or upset, do something that you can, to release that tension before you blurt it out at somebody else. Or remember, you may be on the receiving end of that as well from someone else who isn't as conscious. Try not to react, at least not with the usual anger. You don't want to, make it bigger. And for the most part, it should be a great weekend. I will see you all Monday morning. I hope you have a great weekend. See you then. Bye for now.